Hi everyone, my name is Adam Vaziri. I'm the CEO of Blockpass, and I basically my background is as a lawyer. I started back in 2014 as, in fact, the only blockchain lawyer in Europe, and had spent a long period of time working with companies in helping them understand what compliance is, and especially the most cutting-edge area of fintech, which at the time was crypto. That was a very difficult thing for people to understand. So I spent a while explaining, consulting with people, saying, you need to take into consideration AML obligations quite seriously because this area is going to become more and more regulated. But after a period of time, I just became increasingly frustrated with the fact that every time you have to say the same thing and you have to educate companies about compliance, because ultimately companies do not care about compliance, and because they are running a business, they have a bottom line. And so for me, I was saying, okay, from the business's point of view, this is just a cost of doing business. This is an operational cost. So how can we solve this problem for them? How can we change the perception of compliance, turn it from something that's negative for the business into something that may be positive in an economic way? And so that's where Blockpass, the genesis of Blockpass, comes from. It's a way of advancing regulatory technology into businesses in a way that they don't even have to think about compliance. That, when you drive a car, not everyone needs to be a mechanical engineer, that they can understand how the actual engine works. The same is true with regulatory technology. It is not very sexy. It should just be under the hood, and people should just learn how to drive and just focus on enjoying driving their business. And that's what Blockpass is about. We solve a very big problem, but in a very simple way. We effectively, rather than when you sign up with a bank or when you sign up with an exchange or any kind of financial institution, you have to always provide your KYC. And then they have to verify you. And once you have been verified, then they can give you access to the service. It's a very tedious, boring process and takes a long time. And it's duplicative. So where one bank verifies you, if you approach another bank, they still need to verify you, even though you have already been verified with the first bank. It doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. So we do a very simple thing to resolve this problem. We give our users an identity, a digital identity that they control, they store, they manage, and they themselves get verified through our system. And then when they want to access a service, they simply click a button and access instantaneously the service. And that their experience as a result of financial services, any regulated service, is actually enjoyable as a result. And this isn't just an idea. This is a reality. We've built it, we brought it to market, and it's currently being used at the moment. 100 people every day are using Blockpass as a self-sovereign identity system to be onboarded with regulated companies, and that their experience is a lot better than it has ever been. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about how we do this, how we solve this problem. So as I said, KYC is a terrible user experience, and no one is rewarded for the effort. And we solve that problem by giving people what they deserve, their own identity, a digital identity, and control over their data. Of importance with the way that we do this is that we do not store the data of the users. We're not sitting on a honeypot of data of 6,000 verified users waiting for some guy to hack our servers. No, we use cryptography, advanced cryptography, to ensure that the user can get verified, but that they can share their verified status without us knowing anything about those users. And they get pre-verified before they access the service. Completely logical. I'm surprised no one has done this before. And one thing that we resolve, and this is really our long-term vision, is about changing the perception of compliance from being a cost center to a revenue center. So we actually reward our merchants banks, regulated exchanges for enhancing the profile of our users. They can now be financially rewarded in enhancing and verifying users on top of the verification that we've done. So we have a product, it's Kyc Connect. It's a simple API. You can integrate it in 2 days with a tech team. We focus on, at the moment, the crypto industry, but we're expanding out through different verticals. The type of data that you can store inside your Blockpass application, so name, date of birth, address, passport, national ID, driving license, and then we verify those credentials. So you can verify that your passport is authentic. We use the service on FIDO, and we verify that you're not on a sanctioned list. And for that, we have our partner, ComplyAdvantage, which you'll hear about shortly, who is our partner in helping us with that. So what are the advantages? It's rapid onboarding. We're talking about 5 minutes to onboard the average user. That is a lot faster than anything else in the market. The cost of verification, because it's a shared resource, is going to be lower anyway. It's got to be lower, because rather than verifying 5 times with 5 different banks, we verify the person once and share the cost across all of the merchants. And it's a platform, so you can build on top, and I'll show you a little bit about how that's possible. We have a token. The token is a blockchain product, if you will. We have an integration with Ethereum. We have an integration that's coming up with Waves blockchain, where anyone that has a pass token can get their address verified. So if you've interacted with the blockchain before and done any transactions, most of the transactions are anonymous. You have no way of verifying an address of someone, whether that belongs to them. What the pass token verification system provides is the ability to have your address verified, again, based on the same principles of Blockpass of not storing the data. So this is great for the Web3 authentication and other types of use cases. Our partners, Ethernex, they did 3 token sales using this Blockpass system. It's first in the world. Tokenomica, which is a regulated exchange in Malta, they're currently using it for onboarding their clients. And we have many other partners. And a research center in Edinburgh. The research center is specializing in what I view to be the future of identity verification, which is based on zero-knowledge cryptography. So we have 4 PhD students coming up to 6 that are specializing in researching this area. Because really the future of identity verification is not having to collect passports of individuals. It is simply those individuals being able to say to you that they have been verified and being able to rely upon that zero-knowledge proof. So we are, at the moment, focusing on the individual, but by the end of the year, we'll have a self-sovereign company identity system, which will mean, I don't know if you've experienced it, but if you are a company trying to get onboarded to open a bank account, for example, it can take weeks, it can take months to go through the due diligence process. Now, if you give the company their own digital identity that they themselves can get verified, then the onboarding process could be done in seconds. And that's the product that you will see by the end of the year. So the application, you can download it from the App Store and have your own self-sovereign verified identity. It's free for all users. Yep, so this is just showing you a little bit of the app, how we verify the certificates that are generated and how those can be shared, and how you can share your verified credentials. So simply, there's a QR code on the website, you scan the QR code, click a button, send your verified profile up, and access the service. And that's an example from some of the token sales that we assisted in last year. For the merchants, we have an automated onboarding system, so an algorithm so that if everything is okay, they can be onboarded instantaneously. But there are, of course, edge cases. For example, false positives. If your name is Mohammed, and there are 100 million Mohammeds in the world, then you're going to come up on the sanctions list, because that's quite a popular name for terrorists. And so we have to deal with the false positives, and we have a merchant dashboard that addresses that. So this merchant dashboard is launched on the merchant's own server. They control it themselves, but it's a very streamlined approach to dealing with any edge cases. So rather than, I don't know if you experienced having to send emails to people about onboarding, oh, please, can you send me this? Oh, can you send me a new updated proof of address, which is tedious and creates data leakage, which is a real concern. With the Blockpass system, from the merchant dashboard, you communicate directly to the user's identity application. So there's no emails, no data dispersion at all. It's all done directly between the application and the merchant itself. So this is the secret sauce, if you want, of Blockpass, which is we don't store the data, but we guarantee that the data has not changed. And that's done through cryptography. So when the user sends their data directly to the merchant can prove that the data has not changed state, and that's done with us. And so here's the hashing records and how we prove that the data has not changed. And this is what I was talking to you about earlier on, which is the idea of changing the perception of compliance from something that's negative in a cost center to something that's positive. Every merchant has the ability to enhance the profile of the users that are onboarded. So, for example, if you're HSBC, you can generate a certificate for your users to say you have been successfully onboarded with HSBC, and then that user will have a certificate to share next time they are onboarded with another bank to prove reputation, not necessarily to verify a credential, but just to say, I promise you I'm a good guy, here is all my verified credentials, plus on top of that, HSBC are happy with them. So reputation can go a long way in even speeding up onboarding further. And we incentivize those parties by providing them essentially with tokens using the same kind of logic that Bitcoin incentivizes Bitcoin miners in securing the network by providing them with Bitcoins. We use the same logic. This is an example of a token sale that we did last year in combination with Ethernex and Dusk. Dusk is the one that was doing the token sale. That's basically Blockpass. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Let's make RegTech more interesting. Let's put it under the hood. Let's give people their own identities, and let's think logically how to structure this in a way that fintech can really achieve its goals of innovating finance. We cannot innovate finance if RegTech cannot keep up. Thank you very much.